The America's Got Talent theater is alive long before the cameras focus on the stage. Voices overlap in the crowd, a restless buzz of excitement and skepticism filling the air. Some people are laughing, some are checking their phones, others are whispering guesses about who might be next. It's the kind of noise that feels normal here. This is AGT, where big personalities and bigger surprises walk out every night. No one expects silence. Not yet. From backstage, a young Filipino boy waits alone. The bright lights leak through the curtains in thin lines, cutting across the floor. He shifts his weight from one foot to the other, fingers curling and uncurling, as if they're searching for something to hold on to. The microphone feels heavier than it should, not because of its weight, but because of what it represents. Every step toward that stage feels like walking closer to judgment. Millions of eyes, 4 judges, 1 chance. When his name is called, the noise in the theater grows louder, then slowly fades as he steps into view. He's small compared to the massive stage, almost swallowed by it. His clothes are simple, nothing flashy, nothing designed to grab attention. He doesn't look like a performer who's come to dominate the room. He looks like someone who has come to ask for it. The audience watches politely. Some smile, some tilt their heads with curiosity. A few exchange quick looks that silently ask the same question: is this kid really ready for this? From the judges' table, Simon Cowell glances up briefly, then back down again. He's seen thousands of contestants walk out just like this, nervous, hopeful, convinced they're different. Most of them aren't. The boy introduces himself. His voice soft but steady enough to be heard. There's a hint of an accent, a reminder of where he comes from, of the distance he's traveled to stand in this exact spot. When he mentions Elvis, a subtle reaction moves through the room. A few raised eyebrows, a quiet chuckle somewhere in the crowd. Elvis songs are dangerous here. They've been done too many times, by too many people who think passion alone is enough. Simon finally looks up. Elvis? He repeats, his tone neutral, unreadable. The boy nods. For a moment, it feels like the entire theater leans back, preparing itself for disappointment. The kind that comes politely, wrapped in applause and kind words, but disappointment all the same. This is the pause where expectations are set low, where the story usually goes one way. The boy adjusts his grip on the microphone. His hands shake now just slightly, but enough to notice if you're looking closely. He takes a breath, one slow inhale that lifts his shoulders, then releases it carefully, as if he's afraid the sound of breathing might break something fragile in the air. The lights shift, not dramatically, just enough to tell everyone that the moment is approaching. The background noise of the room fades, not because someone asked for quiet, but because curiosity has begun to replace distraction. Even the people who were whispering moments ago fall silent, sensing that something important is about to happen. From his place on stage, the boy scans the audience. Thousands of faces blur together, but he's not really seeing them. In his mind, he's somewhere else entirely. Maybe back home, maybe in a small room where this dream first started. A place where singing wasn't about judges or buzzers, but about escape. Simon leans back in his chair. He's still skeptical, still guarded. But he's watching now. The music hasn't started yet. And somehow, the room has already begun to change. The first note arrives softly, almost cautiously, as if it's testing the air before committing to it. It isn't loud, it isn't dramatic, but it's steady, and that alone is enough to make a few heads turn. The sound doesn't rush forward, it settles, warm and controlled, filling the space in a way no one was prepared. 4. A ripple of surprise moves through the audience. Someone near the front leans forward, eyes widening just a little. This isn't what they expected. This isn't the shaky, overreaching attempt so many feared. The boy's voice carries weight, not forced or exaggerated, but natural, like it belongs exactly where it is. As he moves into the next line, the tone deepens. There's texture in it, grain, emotion, something lived in that feels impossible for someone so young. It's not just an imitation of Elvis. The phrasing is careful, respectful, but the feeling behind it is unmistakably his own. Each word lands with intention, as if he understands not only the lyrics, but the history inside them. Simon Cowell's posture shifts. Almost without realizing it, he straightens in his chair. His eyes lift fully to the stage now, no longer glancing away, no longer distracted. His expression doesn't change much, but there's a pause in him, a moment where skepticism gives way to attention. The boy closes his eyes for a brief second, not to hide but to focus. When he opens them again, his voice grows stronger. Not louder, stronger. The sound stretches across the theater, reaching the back rows with ease. A few audience members bring their hands to their mouths. Someone whispers, "Oh my." Phones that were raised casually now become steady, forgotten screens, recording something people already sense they'll want to remember. The crowd isn't reacting loudly, but the silence has changed. It's no longer casual. It's intent. Every ear is locked in. The judges' table is still. One of the judges stops tapping their pen. Another forgets to smile. Everyone is listening, truly listening, and that almost never happens this early into a performance. This isn't the kind of audition that needs time to warm up. It arrives fully formed. The boy leans slightly into the microphone, confident now. The nerves haven't vanished, but they've been replaced by something more powerful: control. His voice swells on the chorus, rich and resonant, carrying a hint of longing that cuts straight through the room. It's the kind of sound that makes people sit up straighter without knowing why. Simon's eyes narrow, not in doubt, but in concentration. This is the look he gets when he's searching for a flaw and can't immediately find one. His head tilts, listening for pitch issues, for strain, for anything that would explain away what he's hearing. Nothing comes. As the song builds, the boy's confidence grows, his shoulders relax, his stance widens just a bit. He isn't trying to be Elvis anymore. He's letting the song speak through him. There's restraint in his performance, and that restraint makes it even more powerful. He doesn't oversing. He doesn't beg for applause. He simply delivers. The audience is frozen now. Not a cough, not a shuffle of feet. Even the usual background noise of a live show seems to have vanished. It feels like time has slowed, like the theater exists only for this voice and nothing else. When he reaches a high note, there's a collective inhale across the room. He holds it, steady, controlled, then releases it smoothly without strain. A few people shake their heads in disbelief. This isn't supposed to be happening. Simon finally breaks his stillness, leaning forward, elbows on the table. His lips part slightly, as if he's about to say something, then he stops himself. Words can wait. The boy opens his eyes again, meeting the crowd's gaze, and for the first time, a hint of a smile appears. Not because he's finished, but because he knows now. He knows they're with him. And the room, once full of doubt, has surrendered completely. The final note lingers in the air longer than anyone expects. It doesn't vanish, it hovers, trembling softly as it fades into the vastness of the theater. The boy lowers the microphone slightly, chest rising and falling as he takes a careful breath, unsure of what comes next. His eyes search the room, waiting for a reaction, bracing himself for noise. But none comes. For a split second, the silence feels wrong. Not awkward, not uncomfortable, heavy. As if the entire audience has forgotten how to respond. Thousands of people sit completely still, caught between what they just heard and how to process it. It's the kind of quiet that only happens when something unexpected has landed too deeply to be brushed off. The boy's heart pounds in his ears. He wonders if he did something wrong, if maybe he missed a note, pushed too hard or failed to connect the way he hoped. From the stage, silence can feel like rejection. His fingers tighten around the microphone, knuckles pale, his shoulders slowly tensing again. Then Simon Cowell exhales. It's subtle, barely noticeable, but the camera catches it. He leans back in his chair, eyes still fixed on the stage, and nods once. Not dramatically, not for the audience. Just a small, private acknowledgement that something rare has just happened. His expression isn't triumphant or amused, it's thoughtful, almost humbled. The audience breaks first, a single clap echo. From somewhere in the back, hesitant, as if asking permission. Then another. Then a wave surges forward, and suddenly the theater erupts. Cheers explode. People jump to their feet. Applause crashes from every direction, loud and unrestrained, fueled by relief, excitement, and disbelief all at once. The boy flinches slightly at the sudden roar, then his face changes, his eyes widen, glistening under the lights. He bows his head instinctively, overwhelmed, as if the sound itself might knock him off balance. This wasn't what he imagined. He hoped for approval. He didn't expect this. One of the judges rises from their seat, clapping hard, shaking their head in disbelief. Another smiles openly now, eyes bright. The reaction is no longer controlled or professional, it's emotional, honest. Simon remains seated, letting the moment breathe. When the applause finally begins to settle, he reaches for his microphone. The crowd quiets again, eager, still buzzing with energy. All eyes shift back to the judge's table. "You know," Simon says slowly, his voice calm but weighted, "people come on this stage every day trying to sound like someone else." He pauses, glancing toward the boy. "But what you just did, that wasn't copying. That was feeling." The boy swallows hard, blinking rapidly, trying to keep himself composed. Simon continues, choosing his words carefully. "You took something familiar and made us forget everything except the song. And that is not easy." Another pause. A faint smile touches his lips. "That's actually very rare." The crowd reacts again, murmurs of agreement rolling through the room. The boy nods, unable to speak, his grip on the microphone loosening as the tension finally drains from his body. The judges offer their praise one by one, but the details blur for him. He hears words like soul, control, unexpected. Each one lands like confirmation. That this moment is real. That he didn't imagine the reaction. That this stage didn't swallow him whole. When it's finally time for the vote, the theater holds its breath once more. The boy stands still, heart racing, eyes locked forward. One yes, then another, and another. The result is clear long before it's officially announced. As the final verdict is delivered, the crowd erupts again, louder than before. The boy's composure breaks at last. He covers his face with one hand, laughing and crying at the same time, overcome by the realization that his dream didn't end here. It just began. He looks out into the audience, then back at the judges, and finally down at the stage beneath his feet. This place, once intimidating and distant, now feels like possibility. For one unforgettable moment, a Filipino boy walked onto the biggest stage in the world, and sang with nothing but honesty. And in doing so, he didn't just earn applause,